everybody, it's Melanie, and today we are coming to you from Riverside Cemetery in the historical Montfort area, right next to downtown Asheville, and this cemetery is huge. We're not doing a strictly paranormal video today. You might see this gentleman sitting beside me. This is Charlie.
I am Charlie.
I told you guys we'd be interviewing about his book, but we wanted to tell you a little bit about the cemetery first, because hopefully when I get equipment, good equipment, we will be doing a paranormal video here. So Riverside Cemetery is 87 acres, rolling hills, as you can tell. Hills come up all around, and in the spring and the summer they also have flower gardens. The cemetery was built as not just a cemetery, but they wanted to make it kind of like a park, so that people who were visiting loved ones could come and stroll around and, you know, sit down and have a nice day in the park and that kind of thing. It was adopted in 1952 by the city of Asheville, and it's still active today. There are over 13,000 people buried here. There are over 9,000 monuments and at least 12 family mausoleums on the property. So it's got quite a history, and like I said, it's still active. We do have a couple of famous people buried here.
Yep. O. Henry buried out here.
And Thomas Wolfe.
Yep.
So if you are interested in seeing either of their graves, they are here somewhere. Not sure where. Maybe we'll try to find those in the paranormal video. So that's a little history on Riverside Cemetery. Did you want to add anything to that?
Allegedly this is also someplace where people dress up like zombies and walk around at night.
Maybe it's the zombie walk? I don't know. I know Asheville does a zombie walk downtown sometimes.
Yeah, you mentioned it, yeah. So I don't know if it was part of that. I only came across one reference to it, and yeah, I think it was Sunday nights, I presume, after The Walking Dead.
Maybe we'll get lucky next time.
Oh,
We'll see some zombies walk
that'd be
through.
great.
I know there are other ghost legends, something about an army, Confederate army marching through, all supposed to be ghosts, of course, which I don't think we're going to get anything in the bright sunshine in the middle of the day.
I don't think the Confederate Army will rise from the dead today. No, it's a bit too sunny for that. Yeah, I mean, it's like a lot of cemeteries are built like this. There's one up in Providence. I'm from the New England area, and called Swan Point. That's where H.P. Lovecraft is buried, and it's a park cemetery. So you just like walk in, and beautiful gardens and mausoleums and statues. It's a great little walk, and I imagine this is the same, and from what I can see, it looks the same.
I imagine this one's a great workout.
Yeah.
All of these hills.
Yeah, great workout on these hills, because it just seems to be all hills up here.
And it's random. We have like a military and army and Air Force section that's very neat and organized, and then we have just random tombstones in different places. And I took a few pictures, and I'll show you guys those pictures. I'll insert them into this video.
I took some pictures too. I'll send them off to you.
Awesome.
Yeah, the military cemetery has everything from the Spanish-American War up to one grave that was from 1994. So I don't know if that would have been from the first Gulf War or not, but yeah, so it's still in use, but it goes back over a century. So. And there was like one little corner that where we parked, where the graves were ranging from like late 19th century up to 1977. So it was just such a weird, range.
Yeah, and it not really. I mean, there was an Irish and.
Yeah, it was Bryson, and then Kennedy. Then there was, can't remember the.
So there didn't seem to be any connection as to where. Now I know there's supposed to be a specific Jewish section somewhere here. So if you're Jewish, you might want to check that out. So we are going to talk a little bit about Charlie's book today. So, Guidebook to Haunted and Strange Places in Rhode Island and surrounds. So, the surrounding area as well. And this is out in bookstores now?
That is out in bookstores now. It's been on Amazon for about a month now.
I highly recommend this if you're going to Rhode Island. I've never been to Rhode Island, and there are places just from this book that I want to go see now. If it's just a paranormal video or not. Like, there was the lighthouse. Was it the Rose?
The
Lighthouse?
Rose Island Lighthouse with the cookie baking ghost.
Yes, please bake me cookies. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and apparently, like, if a family stays there, the children wake up in the morning and there are cookies for them, because what's the better breakfast than
Sugar.
paranormal sugar treats in the morning, you know. But yeah, it was fun to research. It was like running around the state for about 6 to 12 months, just getting all these little stories and looking at them, you know, doing a lot of research online as well.
What was your favorite place to visit?
Out of the whole book, I'd probably have to say Prudence Island. It's a little island out in the middle of Narragansett Bay between the west and eastern sides of the state. You have to take a ferry out there. You can get off and basically you wander around aimlessly all day, or you can follow the guide that's in the book. And it just basically it's a great escape because there's barely anybody out there. It's like only a few hundred people during the year round, and in the summer, I don't think the island population gets up to 1,000.
Wow.
So it's really, you know, secluded. It's quiet. It's a nice walk, and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
And there was a mansion out there that's been abandoned since like they built it back in 1902, 1904, I think.
Is that the island that I was reading about that's kind of split in half?
Yeah, it's kind of split in half. It looks almost like an upside down J, and it's technically two islands, but apparently there was like some kind of a land bridge that connected the two of them together.
Okay.
So it's on a map, it's one island, but if you go by some crazy geology ruler of islands, it's actually two islands, and I'm like, okay, it's still one island. But
So this is haunted in strange places. So what was the scariest place that you visited?
the scariest place probably is, I'm trying to think. There's a couple of scary places. Out probably Benefit Street in Providence is scary at night. It's a brick-lined street with all these old homes on both sides, and it's one of the many locations that Edgar Allan Poe is supposed to be haunting.
Okay.
And his fiancée lived down the street from the library where they used to go and hold hands, and she broke up with him when she found out that he was drinking again.
I remember reading that.
And he just didn't take it well. He was dead within a year.
Ironically, one of his biggest fears was being buried alive, and he might have actually just been buried alive.
I didn't know that.
Well, they found him in the street, and of course he liked to drink, right?
Right, oh, yeah.
So, I mean, he was passed out in the street, and they just assumed he was dead because they did the mirror test.
Right.
Because at the time, that was the technology. You hold a mirror up, and if the person's breathing, then it fogs up the glass, they're alive. But if he had been in some kind of really deep sleep or some type of coma from drinking too much, he might have just very well been buried alive.
Wow. I know in Baltimore there was the lady in black who would always visit his grave on the anniversary of his death. And that happened for, I think, decades. And I don't know if it's still going on or not. I've heard some people say she still appears, some people say she doesn't. And they never found out who she was. But I think she'd go up in a legal glass of cognac or something. It was great. But,
Interesting. So, why follow the walking path? Was it H.P. Lovecraft? Yeah. Why follow his walking path?
because he wrote a lot of like creepy stories, and a lot of them are based in Providence partially, and he just used a lot of the houses that were around his neighborhood as backdrops. One of his best stories, I think, is The Shunned House, and you can still see that house today. It's a private home. You can't go inside, but you can walk outside, take pictures. One of the pictures is in the book, and it's a classic ghost/vampire story. And like a lot of the houses that he wrote about, a lot of the buildings have similar stories. The Providence Athenaeum might have been mentioned in a couple of his stories. I can't think of any mention offhand, but I'm sure they were. But I mean, that's a beautiful granite building. It's like a Greek temple from the outside. You walk in, and it's just this beautiful carpeted library with the Dewey Decimal System card system still in use. And It's like you walked it back like 50, 100 years or so.
So some good history there.
Yeah, it's great.
Is there anything in here you would recommend above all the other things that people go see?
Probably the Rhode Island Lighthouse, the one with the cookie baking ghost. Uh, it's only open during the summer. You have to take a ferry from either Jamestown or Newport to get out to the island. I don't think it's a 10, 15-minute boat ride.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, and it's just occasionally the boats travel quite regularly between the two sections. Like, basically, it's a ferry that goes from Newport to Jamestown, and they just kind of like stop off on the island in between. So that's a fun trip. It's just a beautiful lighthouse. They refurbished it over the past, I would say, 30 years or so. And you can actually stay out there overnight. It's probably about $200 a night for a guest. But I mean, I think they have like 4 or 5 rooms.
Okay. So probably very peaceful and quiet.
Oh yeah, I imagine it would be.
Anything that you would like to add that didn't make it into the book?
Actually working on the next book, and I'm trying to like
Sneak peek.
coming up with like a chapter on. It was originally going to be forts and castles, but I've now changed it over to towers and castles because apparently there are a bunch of towers around New England. One is a gentleman who built a castle in Worcester, Massachusetts. He was I think he worked in the steel industry, like he owned a steel foundry, and he built this castle that just basically the front part of it looks like a castle, medieval European castle, for a friend of his because, why not? What else would you do with $900,000 in the 1800s? So there's that. I'm working on also going out to Fort Tabor, and I went out to Fort Tabor and then there's Fort Phoenix, 2 forts in New Bedford, the New Bedford area that overlooked the Atlantic Ocean, and they were supposed to protect the whaling industry of New Bedford from the Confederate Navy during the Civil War. And then they were supposed to protect the Atlantic coast from the German invasion of World War I and World War II. And finally, they just became obsolete. Now they're beautiful parks. So.
Okay. Well, like I said, I highly recommend getting this book, especially if you want to check out. There are a lot of creepy places that he describes in here. The 9 Man's Misery
Yeah,
was
9 Man's
super
Misery,
creepy.
which was great, yeah. I actually traveled there with an ex-girlfriend, and she won't let me forget it. But it's just like this. I think it's the oldest war memorial in the United States, possibly in Canada as well.
Okay.
And it goes back to King Philip's War, one of the first engagements between the colonists and the Native Americans.
So again, lots of just kind of history behind these ghost stories. And then there's the demon dog.
The demon dog of Fort Wetherell, which I was attacked by a beagle when I was at Fort Wetherell. And I was sitting on a park bench, and he just came up and decided.
Scary.
No, he decided I was his friend, and he just was scratching his head. It was cute. It was just.
Okay. Well, at least he didn't bite you.
No, he didn't bite me. No. But I had puppy slobber on me.
Ew.
That was about it.
Puppy slobber.
Yeah. But it's Fort Wetherell is an old fort. The area was fortified going back to the 1700s. The British invaded back in 1770s, 1780s, burned the whole place down. But there's always been a fort on that section of Jamestown going back 300 years.
Wow.
And the fortification now goes back to early 20th century, and these were like large gun emplacements that were, again, protecting the Atlantic coast from German invasion that never came. And the bunkers were so hardened that they just couldn't tear them down, so they just kind of like still sit there. The doors to the tunnels have been covered up, but of course people have like pried the doors open and go into tunnels all the time looking for ghosts. The devil dog that allegedly roams that area goes back to chasing the British back in the 1700s, and there have been sightings going well into the 21st century. I think the most recent sighting I heard about was right about, I want to say it was about 2010, 2012. So, it's a popular place for kids to go down, get drunk, and,
So maybe the most you have to worry about is a bunch of drunk kids?
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's probably the greatest concern. Also, going into the tunnels is a little bit dicey because the floors have been ripped up, and I wouldn't recommend going.
Yeah, we don't recommend harming yourself.
Yeah, don't go into the tunnels.
So, I'm gonna stop asking you questions because I don't want to give away the whole book.
Okay.
But there are other nice, creepy stories, a lot of great history. You also described a lot of good restaurants to go eat at. I thought Granny's sounded amazing.
Yeah, which one?
It was like a pub or something. It's like called Granny's.
Oh, it was the Nanny, the Narragansett Cafe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in Jamestown. Actually, that's near the Demon Dog from Hellfort.
Okay.
And that's going to be the official name now, the Demon Dog from Hellfort. But no, it's a good place. It's they keep winning awards for like their live music. And every night they have a band playing, and it's always good. And just good old-fashioned pub food and good drinks. I like that place.
So, and there was also a great story about a ghost ship. So, get the book, read the book, go to Rhode Island, send us some pictures. If you go to any of these places, leave us a comment or an answer video in the comment section below. You can also find me on Facebook, facebook.com/shiveringshimmy. I'm also Shivering Shimmy on Twitter and Instagram. Please hit like and subscribe to join our international circle of friends and family. We actually met in Japan, and Charlie, we always joke, he's my big brother.
And my little sister.
So, click to join us, and any last thoughts?
I don't know, just basically, I kind of wrote the book just basically to go out and have some fun, just get off the couch occasionally, just like wander around aimlessly, and that's, I don't know, if any last thought would be like, go out, have some fun, wander around, and do something,
But don't get into trouble.
No, don't get into trouble.
We don't recommend that.
No, don't get into trouble. Keep it legal, mostly. But mostly legal.
Keep it legal. I have to tell them that.
Okay.
So, I guess I will see you guys in the next video.
Bye. Thank you, Melanie.